Hello, my name is Cheyenne Taylor, and this is my EDU 710 Capstone project, Twitter as Professional Development for Educators. When you open up my project, you will be directed to the home page, and there I have a little information for the teachers about what the project is about. By completing the task in this Google site, teachers will learn about how they can extend their education and develop professionally through non-traditional avenues like Twitter. Teachers are to work through this coursework at their leisure. This will serve as a trimester-long project for educators. There's a start date and a completion date. And if you scroll down, you'll find the learning objectives, which are the teacher will be able to expand their professional development through the use of Twitter. The teacher will be able to expand their professional learning network. And lastly, the teacher will be able to reflect on the ways that they have been impacted through this style of professional development. Next, you would go to the task page. It lets you know that this is a 6-hour training. These are the 6 tasks that teachers would go through during this trimester-long training. Task 1 explains what Twitter is. It gives you some definitions on the side, as well as what to do. You'll complete a survey, read a few articles, watch a few videos, review the Twitter glossary, and skim through this article called Teaching and Learning with Twitter. And then there's a reflection piece for this task that includes the staff creating a Flipgrid video and a written reflection. Task 2 requires the teacher to make a Twitter. Again, they'll be reading and skimming. They'll actually make a Twitter account. There's some information on who and what to follow, some videos for them to watch, as well as a piece on curation, as they will need to be curating some of their favorite tweets that they see along this journey. Again, this task ends with a reflection, another Flipgrid video, as well as the teachers working in the actual Twitter app, creating a Twitter thread and using that as a form of reflection. Task 3 deals with personal learning networks and ed chats. Again, we have our definitions on the side as well as our what to do. There's some reading, some watching. They are encouraged to search a few different hashtags on Twitter, as well as a reminder to curate their tweets. Again, this task ends with reflection. There are 3 different things for the teachers to do for this task. They need to make a Flipgrid video, work on their Twitter thread, as well as create a written reflection. Task 4 deals with PBIS, Positive Behavioral Intervention System, as well as teachers experimenting in their content. The definition for PBIS is located here, as well as there are articles that they will be reading about PBIS, some videos about how to work with challenging children, some hashtags that they should search while they're on Twitter, the curation reminder, as well as another reflection piece. This is another 3-part reflection where they make a Flipgrid video, they add to their Twitter thread, and complete another written reflection. Task 5 is all about social justice in the classroom. We have some explanations of social justice as well as what it looks like in the classroom. The teachers will be reading different articles, watching different videos, as well as a snippet from a YA author who had some very strong points to share after the murder of George Floyd. They'll be skimming this article right here. They'll be reviewing Tweeting for Change, which deals with how to use Twitter in a positive way while still talking about social justice. And then they will have a task that requires them to look for different social injustices, if you will, in their content area, the reminder to curate, as well as a 2-part reflection. Task 6 is all about reflection. This is a written component only. Part 1 deals with reflecting back to the goals that were set in Task 1 and how the educator's thoughts and feelings have changed through using Twitter as professional development. The second part of the reflection, the teachers are to revisit where they kept their curated tweets, choose 5, and explain why they kept them, why they were important to them. I do believe that my capstone project meets the requirements laid out in the Triple E framework. When it comes to engagement, the time on task standard, I believe that overall that this professional development is about 6 hours worth of work, as well as when we're looking at time on task, the videos have certain time frames. The reading may even say you can be done with this article in 3 minutes or 5 minutes. So there is a lot of time on task for people to use as a guide. I do believe that the technology motivates the learner, as you have to create the Twitter to even move past task 2. And lastly, I believe that the Flipgrid allows for a shift in behavior, because if we're sitting in a classroom doing traditional PD, it's easy to fall by the wayside and not speak up. But if you are required to reflect openly, this is a change in behavior of what you may have been usually getting away with when you sit in professional development. When it comes to enhancement and the standard about the technology creating higher order experiences on Bloom's taxonomy, I believe that the teachers being required to make a Twitter thread that they have to reflect on satisfies that, as they are creating a micro blog and they're updating it constantly. When it comes to personalization, one of the tasks is to make a Twitter and to make a username that is creative and connects to your name or hobby. You also have to add a picture, a header image, as well as fill out the Twitter bio. All of these components can be very personal to the user. The last standard in enhancement talks about the technology adding value. With the use of Twitter and creating your personal learning network, you are able to connect with educators all around the world. You're able to engage in discourse with colleagues on an array of topics. So it definitely adds value, because ideally, if you're at work, you have your coworkers and you have whoever the district brings in, but Twitter allows you to connect with people all across the world. As for the standards under Extend, the first one talks about the learner being able to do this outside of the classroom, and as you can see, the teachers have the whole trimester to work on this project. They have a start date and a completion date. So it doesn't have to be done during necessarily the school day. The second standard under Extend talks about creating bridges. This task of creating PLNs and engaging in ed chats allows for teachers to learn new information from other educators and then apply it in their actual classroom. So it definitely creates bridges in the sense of I can learn this new information and then I can apply this new information directly, and it will directly impact me as a teacher as well as my craft. The last standard in Extend deals with making sure the task, if you will, is meeting 21st century standards. Uh, by completing this professional development, it allows for educators to practice communicating digitally. It allows for them to explore media and technology through this different type of literacy, which is Twitter. Twitter is something that is popular in a lot of jobs. They even have, social media positions available for people to work in, because we live in a social media world. So this definitely provides those 21st century connections. So this is my capstone project. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for spending time listening to this project.